Well, today, why don't you just be a little fly on my shoulder as I make the rounds in my garden to get ready for some serious outdoor living, because finally the temperatures have cooled. I say finally, actually we have been very blessed with some cool temperatures much earlier than normal. So it's prime weather and the prime season to really do some outdoor living. So I thought, I was cleaning off my table when Stuart got here, and he told me that I should tell you guys what I think about when I am considering outdoor furniture and outdoor entertaining and things of that nature. So let me describe to you a little bit about my outdoor dining area, what I have done in the past, what I would probably do differently in the future, and just some other kinds of considerations that I take into account when I think about exterior decorating and exterior design. So this is a glass top table. I have had this dining set with this table and these really heavy metal chairs for a very long time, probably for 25 years. And happily, I love the style. I love the lattice back on them. They're a little bit heavy to move, but nevertheless, that's not necessarily a bad thing in Oklahoma, because the lighter weight furniture can really blow around and that can be an issue. So I really don't mind the fact that they're pretty heavy. Some of them just have 4 legs and some of them have a rocking capability. So this came with 6 chairs with this lattice work weave. And then a little bit later, I think it was a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I wanted to mix it up. It was when I added the bistro area just outside of our kitchen, and I wanted to add another texture of chairs, and I wanted to move some of these chairs over there. Come over here, Stuart, and I'll show you what I mean when I say they have rocking capability. Now just ignore all the rags and everything I've got around. So see, these literally rock. And I wanted these that rock over here in kind of the lounge area, in the bistro area. So I love these. They're extremely comfortable. They are a little bit heavy to move, but nevertheless, that's not so much of a problem, because once they get put in place, they're just kind of in place for the duration. So that doesn't bother me too much. Let me talk a little bit about the cushions. So when I selected the cushions, and I have done this a number of times over the course of the year, because obviously they get lots of wear and tear being outside, I have mixed them up, but they have always been solid. And the reason being that if I am entertaining outside and I have my dining table set to the max with seasonally appropriate table linens that might be floral, that might be tropical, that might or be really fallish, a buffalo plaid or something like that, then I don't want them to conflict with any kind of pattern on the seat cushions. And so because of that, I have always had solid seat cushions. They have been kind of a moss color green in the past. If I want to inject a little bit of pattern, then I can with throw pillows. But for the enduring features, I like to really just keep it very, very simple in a solid. I got this last time in just kind of a slate gray, because I liked the kind of Scandinavian vibe that they had, and they just kind of harmoniously blend in with everything else, and they're a great foil for any kind of patterned pillows that I might put out here, whether they were springy or fallish. So that was kind of my thinking behind these cushions. And these were, you can get really expensive ones, but I got these, I think, at Target or someplace like that. They were not expensive, but they have held up just fine. So I don't necessarily think that you have to have something really expensive for it to be effective. It's a beautiful morning, so people are going to be working outside. And let me talk a little bit about these woven chairs. Now, this is an outdoor woven wicker, and I love this look. I can keep them out all over, all season long in the rain and everything. In the wintertime, I typically do bring them in, put them in my basement because I want them to last as long as possible. These were not expensive. I ordered them online and they are just exactly what I wanted. They're extremely comfortable. The only downside of this kind of weave is that when leaves fall, when needles fall from the blue Atlas cedar, then it does tend to fall in the cracks. And I have found, rather than just blowing them, I just turn them upside down and try to remove any of that kind of debris. And I think about 7 or 8 years ago, these were kind of, when I bought them originally, they were a dark gray, and they faded, they aged, and I had them painted a matte black, and you can see some of that is starting to decay and is starting to age, and I'm going to have to replace that. So I may need to paint them again. But I really don't like to just discard things. I really like to use things for the long haul, particularly if I still like the look, and I still love the look of these. Now, while I love the look of the chairs and how comfortable they are, and I love the look of the table, in retrospect, I would not have gotten a glass top, because it just collects debris. I always am having to clean it off. I hose it down, and then I use Windex. I do like the shadows and the reflection of different garden elements in the glass, but it's pretty high maintenance. So if I had to do it again in the future, I probably would get something with some kind of solid top. I don't know if that would be like some kind of mesh or stone or something organic, but that wouldn't require so much maintenance. And then a lot of you guys have asked about what this is that I have in the center of the table. And this is Muhlenbeckia or wire vine. I love it. I can use it in a number of different ways. It has this kind of I love the cascading effect that it has. It is a great plant to use in underplanting pots and underplanting your topiaries, but I really, really like it. This here is, I think, just some remnants of probably some grape hyacinths. So I really like that. Now here's a fun feature. I've showed this to you in the past, but for new viewers, let me show you again in the future. This is a way you can really get a dramatic look from whatever the centerpiece is of your table very inexpensively. And that is just by taking, Stuart, if you can do a close-up, this is just an old metal pillar candlestick that I got from Goodwill for mere pennies. And then I just set the pot on top of it. This stand is really substantial. It can hold a heavy pot like this old lattice work terracotta pot. And I like the fact that it's metal and it kind of speaks the same language as my metal furniture and other things that I have out here. Now, Stuart, be careful because I don't want you to trip. I'm going to show Stuart almost with capsize. We almost lost Stuart. I have some old wrought iron candlesticks that I'll have to do some work to get them to stand up and fly right. Now, I typically don't leave these out all of the time, you guys, because it bothers me if they don't have candles in them. And when they have candles in them, if it's really, really hot, the wax will melt and it can make quite a mess. But this time of year, it's cool enough and that's not a problem. And some of you, if you watch some of my videos, I'll come out in the morning when it's still dark out, I'll have my coffee, I will light the candles, and it's really kind of fun. So I've got a third one now. And as a backstory to these, you guys, these were a gift that I gave some friends of mine down the street. And they are getting ready to move, and they're getting rid of a lot of things that they really don't use much anymore or that don't fit into the new scheme of their house. So I just took these back because they're perfect for my yard. Okay, that one is very wonky and I need to fix it. Now this table does have a hole in the center if I want to use an umbrella, and in the past I did, but now I don't really have to because the canopy of the redbuds overhead has completely closed. There's just a little bit of sun around midday that comes down on the table, just enough to keep this plant happy. But for the most part, I really don't need an umbrella anymore, and I like the clean look that it has without the umbrella. So maybe those tips you'll find helpful. If I had to do it all over again, I would do some things differently, but I'd also do some things the same. I'll try to do a video where maybe on LVTV, where I really set this up and trick it out to the nines. I'm going to have some guests over tomorrow night for appetizers and some wine in the garden. So it will be fun on a beautiful, cool day like today for me to really make everything in my outdoor living spaces really nice and special. So you guys have a great day.